Right, how's everyone doing? Good, I hope. Yeah, the Atari VCS is awesome, we found out that if you go to Internet Archive, you can play a whole lot of Atari 1500 games, But not only Atari 1500 games, Atari 2600, 7800, a whole bunch of systems, The only thing is, you have to use a keyboard to play the games, but it's still awesome, So, yeah, so go to Internet Archive and click the floppy disk icon. Then you see a picture of all the systems. You see the Atari 1500, just select it, and you can play a whole bunch of Atari 1500 games. My favourite Atari 1500 game is Pole Position. Uh, that's why we got an Atari 1500 back in the day. Was for pole position, but little did I know that both of my controllers for the 1500 would just break. We didn't do anything to them; they just broke. And it felt like it wasn't worth getting a replacement. So I took my 1500 and just put it in the attic. So I had to wait a long time till last week before I found out that we can play pole position on my Atari 50 on my Atari VCS, which is awesome. We knew of Internet Archive, but I didn't know that it had games in it. But I saw the floppy disk icon, and that made sense to me. Like a floppy disk icon means software. So I clicked it, and then it has two options: Internet Arcade or Console Living Room. So if you select Console Living Room, you have a whole bunch of systems. But like I said, the only thing is you have to use a keyboard, but it's still awesome because you can play games that you can't find anywhere else. Particularly Atari 1500 games. There's not a lot of online emulators that play Atari 1500 games. For that, most emulators you have to download an offline emulator to play them. But Internet Archive, you can just select the game and play it, but you have to use the keyboard. But it's actually easier to play Atari 1500 games on a keyboard than an actual Atari 1500 controller, in my opinion. Because for back then, the Atari 1500 controller had an analog joystick, which just wasn't right. It didn't feel right. Like the car felt like it was slipping all over the track or something, and the buttons were on the side of the controller for accelerate, which was awkward. Whereas with the 2600 joystick would have been fine because all you need is one button to accelerate, and you press up and down on the joystick to switch gears. But because the 1500 joystick was like an analog joystick, it just didn't feel right, not to me. And the buttons were on the side to accelerate, which is awkward. Then they had that big number pad on the 1500 controller, which wasn't necessary in my opinion. But anyway, like I said, I had two controllers and both of them broke over time, and I didn't feel like it necessary to get it replaced because like Centipede, Asteroids, Missile Command, all these games were on the 2600 anyway, and yeah, they were on the 1500. They were on the 1500 as well, with better graphics, but it didn't feel like it was worth buying two new controllers and having the same thing happen again, so I don't know. They were just poorly manufactured, the Atari 1500 controllers, and just no. So I had to wait a long time till last week. I found out we could play pole position. It's awesome. It's awesome being able to play it on the Atari 50 on the Atari VCS, like the new Atari VCS. So once you select the game, the arrow keys is left and right. To steer the car left and right. Up is for low gear, down is for high gear, and the left control key is for accelerate. And you press the number 1 key to start the game. Now the same keys work with every Atari 1500 game. But the left control key would be fire or jump or something like that. So it's pretty cool. And I found out that Battlezone was on the 5200. We didn't know that, you know. But for some reason, it's just not as good as the 2600 version. It's less colourful. You can't even see your tank. It's just a crosshair, and it's just black with blue mountains and just a crosshair, and a were like a sort of like vector graphics for the enemy tanks and stuff. I don't know. I just prefer the 2600 version of Battlezone. Everything was filled in, if you know what I mean. The tanks were filled in, the ground, everything. This one is more like the arcade version with the vector graphics. I just prefer how the 2600 version looked. Like the ground was filled in, the tanks were filled in with colour and stuff. Just looked better, like in my opinion. But anyway, so yeah, it's awesome. So like if it have an Atari VCS, if you want to play a whole bunch of Atari 1500 games, go to Internet Archive, select the floppy disk icon, then you'll see the picture of the Atari 1500. Click it, and the arrow keys are for movement, pretty much for all it. It shows the instructions on the bottom of the screen, what does what, you know. But the arrow keys are for movement. The number one key is to start the game, and the left control key is fire or accelerate. That's all you need, like, you know. Those number buttons were rarely used on 1500 games on the actual controller, like, you know. So yeah, the Atari VCS is awesome, you know, really is. Like, I just hope that Atari themselves put some official support for the 1500, the Lynx, the Jaguar on the Atari VCS store, or, you know, something like that, you know. But I hear words that they are going to do that, but I hope they do it soon, you know, because the VCS, it's lacking games, you know, and it's still, they're still selling it for $400 on their website, which is too expensive. But awesome, you know what I mean. So while you're waiting for new games to come on the Atari VCS, you can play 1500 games if you want to, or 2600 games, or whatever you want to do. Online emulation through Chrome, that's what we use. I don't feel necessary to upgrade my Atari VCS, you know, to play Windows 10 and Steam games and stuff. Because one, I don't want to spend the money for the stuff, and two, I don't have the skills to put the stuff inside my Atari VCS. I'm happy with what I have, you know. What I have is 8GB of RAM, 32GB of storage. I have a couple of thumb drives for extra storage if I need it. But with that, like, I could play N64, PS1 games, Sega Mega Drive, Super Nintendo, thousands of games, Atari Jaguar, Sega Master System. I can't play GameCube or PS2 or anything upwards. But like I said, me personally, I just don't feel it necessary to upgrade my Atari VCS. What I have, I'm happy with. You know, so yeah, but like I said, in my opinion, one of the greatest things about the Atari VCS, that it's flexible. You can do whatever you want with it, and you're going to have a good experience with it. You're going to have access to thousands of games, and they run and play great. You know, and you can use the VCS controller or any controller you wish. You can use a keyboard. I mean, you're not restricted like a console is. You know, so it has those benefits. You know, the only thing that's lacking is the power of an Xbox Series X and a PS5. But in my opinion, you're not missing out on much. You can play thousands of games. There's even online emulators that have original Xbox games, PS3 games, but that would be pushing the Atari VCS, if you know what I'm saying. But still awesome. You have those options. And so anyway, I hope everyone has a good day out there. Take care and bye bye.